can do right now. He plays dumb a lot, but he's attached to us deep down. He wouldn't disappear without saying anything, right?
I'm worried for Teddy myself, but let's trust in him and await his return. Right now, we must concentrate on the case. It won't be long before Namatame is transferred to another location. We must hurry, or we will miss our only chance to get his perspective on this.
You know, I've been thinking about the case since, but
You were thinking?
something
Whoa.
just doesn't seem right.
Let's quickly review the facts. Of all the victims, only 2 were killed, Miss Yamano the announcer and Saki-san. From the documents we found in the car, we know Namatame had some sort of dealings with them. After that, there were multiple attempted murders in which we were targeted. It was only when he took Nanako-chan that we caught him in the act, identifying his modus operandi in the process.
When I hear you put it like that, sounds like the dude's guilty.
Thank you, Kamen Rider, for the 390 bits.
As a result of
Thank you.
Namatame's arrest, the police admitted that Mitsuo Kubo was a mere copycat killer.
Back up to yesterday. Remember when you said Namatame didn't have a motive to kill the announcer?
Missed the one. I'm
That's
sorry.
what's bothering me.
Right. Either he's completely nuts, or we're misunderstanding something.
You lost me.
She's trying to say that if Namatame is sane, then there may be facts in the case we don't know about yet. Sane or insane? Sounds like a play I saw before.
When he talks about saving people, what does that actually mean? I don't think there's any doubt that it includes kidnapping people and throwing them into the TV.
Could he mean saving them through death?
Really?
He did call himself a savior.
That was like the most obvious.
And said that the other side is
whatever.
a wonderful world.
Detective Idiot is more like it.
So they'll be saved if they die? What a bunch of crap! The bastard should have gone and saved himself. What do you think, Senpai?
Something else.
If you think about it normally, it's gotta be him. But
Nope,
there ain't
never played
nothing normal
Danganronpa.
about that world anyways.
There's something I've been wondering about
Don't think
for a
I'll ever play it.
while.
Not interested,
When
really.
we first encountered him, he said, "You're the ones I saved. Don't worry, I'll save this girl too." So, if he saves people by killing them, did he save us too? Wouldn't he actually have failed to save us?
You raise a good point. If he thinks that salvation comes only through death, his words to us make no sense. And another thing, the Namatame who appeared on the Midnight Channel said he failed to save Nanako-chan.
Well,
think
maybe
it has
he
to do with the
really was
personas.
trying to save the victims by putting them inside the TV. Come on, don't get all quiet like that. You guys know I just say the first dumb thing that pops into my head.
I mean, they're visual
The
novels,
possibility
so
that he truly intended to save us.
I've watched a fair amount of it. I don't think it's for
But
me.
he's still the one who threw in Saki-senpai and that announcer, right? Sure, we haven't nailed down his motives, but that doesn't change the fact that he killed them. Or what? You think someone else was involved? What makes you think so?
Possibility of a culprit besides Namatame. Could there be someone that proves this possibility?
Sardines!
Thank you, Plain Isaac, for the 100 bids. Sardines prove that there's another person. It's the warning letter. It's the warning letter.
Warning letter? Oh yeah. Whatever happened to that thing?
If Namatame's the killer, he must have been the one who wrote it,
I mean, I
right?
just have a bunch of alerts. It's you guys that make it happen.
Let's review them.
Thank you, Kamen Rider, for the 111 bids. You recall the first warning letter said, "Don't rescue anymore," and the second one said, "If you don't stop this, someone close will be put in and killed."
Yes, that's right.
Isn't that kinda odd? Would someone who thinks he's saving people by killing them write stuff like "don't rescue" or "kill"?
Yeah, and the "will be put in and killed" part doesn't make sense either. If
Thank
the
you, Plain
killer
Isaac,
was
for the
writing
111 bids.
wouldn't it be more like "I'll put in and kill"?
Hey, could this mean...
Namatame didn't write it.
Yeah. It's almost like someone else wrote this letter.
But only the killer would write such a letter and deliver it to Dojima-san's house, right? If someone else wrote it, that could only mean...
Dear God. Since this is
My
such an
God.
unusual case, I was absolutely convinced that other than the Kubo incident, there was one culprit.
So Namatame really was trying to save his victims?
Everything is exactly the opposite of what it first seemed. In Namatame's parlance, failing would have been the first two cases when the victims died. If he had used his method twice and failed both times, he would hardly have continued using the TV.
Exactly.
And yet he did.
Exactly.
It all seems to suggest
Why would he keep trying to
that
do the same thing if he
someone
kept
else wrote
failing?
this warning letter while observing the entire case.
Someone else? Then, it wasn't Namatame that killed Saki-senpai and the announcer?
We can't say for certain yet. We urgently need to speak with Namatame face to face.
You all work together to take another step toward the truth. Seekers of Truth Level 2. It's the Judge Judy Arcana. Your power to create personas of the Judge Judy Arcana has grown.
How though? After what happened yesterday, they said they're gonna tighten security.
I have a plan. But there's no time to waste. Let's hurry to the hospital.
To the Batmobile! Na 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 na. Good guy. Na 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 na.
Hey, this place is off limits.
Na 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 na.
I'm a consultant with the police.
Attack now. Na, na,
I'd
na,
like
na,
a few words with
na, na.
Namatame-san. May I go in?
Na, 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 na.
This is Unit 252
Yeah, let's
requesting
go.
confirmation
I
on
don't-
an ID. Name of Naoto Shirogane.
I don't know what it is.
Huh?
I don't know what the next part is.
Ah, understood. I see. Well, you're on the list.
Nice, we get into the
I'll give
nightclub.
you a few minutes, but I'll have to record your conversation with him for security purposes. Not that I expect you'll get anything coherent out of the guy. He's been spouting nothing but gibberish.
I'd like him to accompany me as well. He has no identification, but this is an emergency situation, and he's here in Detective Dojima's stead.
Huh? Detective Dojima sent him? I wasn't informed of this.
I'll vouch for his identity.
Well, I guess it's better than dealing with the man himself. We have our hands full with the transport procedures, so the last thing we need is Detective Dojima running wild. Detective Adachi is busy somewhere too. This is Unit 252. Huh? I see.
Has something happened?
There's something about a suspicious object out in the lobby.
Ah,
It's a
well
big,
then,
giant
this
wiener.
works out nicely. You should back up your colleagues downstairs. We'll keep watch over Namatame-san. A disturbance in a hospital lobby, after all. It sounds serious.
If anything happens, hit the nurse call button. I'll leave the rest to you.
Understood.
I don't
Please
know
be
why,
careful.
but I just thought of like my other people just slapping down a giant sticky
I knew they were undermanned,
wiener
but I
in
didn't
the middle of the
expect
lobby.
it to go this
and
smoothly.
just like as a distraction.
There's nothing much
don't know
inside
why
that
that
suspicious
popped up.
object. So he won't be gone long.
It's like there's a suspicious object.
Now's our chance to talk to
Flopping
Namatame.
wiener. Rear. Be very, very dangerous at the very least. Sup, dude? Who's the other killer? Yeah, like Mara, exactly. Exactly.
Namatame-san, there's something we'd like to ask you.
That's probably why I thought of it, because Mara. I got Mara on the mind.
It's tempting to think that you were the culprit behind this entire case. And to be honest, there are many in this town who hope you are. But we are here to learn the truth. So please, answer our questions.
Huh?
Seems that he understands what you're saying. What should you ask him? Is saving... They keep playing asking for the 100 bids. First question. Sardines! Saving killing people.
No. If nobody saves them, they'll be killed. That's why I put them in there.
What should you ask him? Who'd you throw in first? Oh, oh shit! As soon as I asked that question, I was thinking the first two that actually died weren't thrown in, and sure enough, did you kill those two girls?
And what did you say? A horse wiener?
Did you kill the horse wiener?
That's
Answer me!
dangerous.
Thank you, Playing Isaac, for the 1,111 bids. Thank you.
They were killed. I couldn't save them.
Then tell me if my estimation is correct so far. After discovering the Yamano and Konishi incidents, you realized an appearance on the Midnight Channel meant certain death. Thus, to save her from that fate, you kidnapped Yukiko Amagi. You couldn't let her be killed, so you threw her into the TV, preventing the killer in this world from reaching her. And you repeated the process, as more individuals appeared on the Midnight Channel. It all falls into place. His body is weak, but his mind is sound. He's trying to tell us the truth.
Yeah, but if the stuff he's saying is true...
There's another killer who murdered the first two victims?
Indulge us in a few more questions.
What should you ask him? Who killed the first two? Let's get right to the meat.
I have no idea. I want to know that too.
What should you ask him? Why did you enter the TV?
I didn't know. I never thought it would be that kind of place.
Why the warning letters? But he didn't send them. What warning letters?
What are you talking about?
Boom!
As I thought.
You...
The other two were warm-up questions to that
Believe me?
one.
Did they find him? Did they find the one who did such cruel things? Mayumi.
Please calm down. Our ability to find the culprit rests on you. We know about the other world. In fact, we're the only ones who can fully understand what you have to say.
Only... you?
We did blame you for everything at first. But now I think we
Blame
can
him for
accept
the
whatever you got to
sardines!
tell us.
Thank you,
It's
Ray, for the
truth.
100 bids.
Please, tell us everything you can, calmly and slowly.
You're willing to listen? Do my story?
Listen to my story. Ha 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 ha!
All right.
This might be our last ha ha.
Soon after my affair with Mayumi became common knowledge, I returned to my parents' home, as if to
Damn,
run
he's
away
chugging
from the
down those
scandal.
beers fast.
And I started drinking heavily to drown my anxieties. I hadn't been able to reach Mayumi at all, and that didn't help either. Mayumi, where are you? She'd been
Watashi love you,
disgraced in all the
Desu.
afternoon shows and forced to resign from the program she was on. I caused her so much trouble. I wanted to at least apologize to her, but I couldn't even do that. I lost the will and energy to do anything. Then, one day, the rumor I heard some time ago came back to me. Since I had nothing better to do, I sat down blankly in front of the TV and watched my own reflection. And all of a sudden, there was Mayumi.
It was your Yumi.
Mayumi? Is that you? The Mayumi inside the TV looked as if she was calling to me for help. Mayumi? Mayumi! When I reached out unthinkingly to touch her, my arm disappeared into the TV, as if I had dipped it into a pool of water. I was so shocked that I lost my balance and nearly fell face first into the TV. I was so scared. I couldn't understand what just happened. I thought maybe I'd gone insane. In the end, I decided to think of it as just a dream, and I went back to the city the next day after finishing work. The next afternoon when I got to work, I was fired on the spot, as I expected. That wasn't what broke me, though. It was Mayumi being found dead. And not just that, but it had happened in my hometown.
Namatama is casting his eyes downward painfully.
I was dumbstruck. But later on, I remember the image of Mayumi I'd seen that night. Was it not a dream? Could it really have been an SOS from Mayumi? I hadn't touched another TV because the first time was so terrifying, but I decided to try it again. And I confirmed that none of it was a dream. So that image, was it something Mayumi showed me, calling for help? That's how I felt.
And eventually, you learned of the Midnight Channel.
I remembered that when Mayumi was alive, she was chasing a rumor about some bizarre TV program. I'd heard about it before, but I thought it was just an urban legend. But then Mayumi appeared on it, and later turned up dead. The more I thought about it, the harder it became to believe that the two events were unrelated. Soon after that, I came back to Inaba to answer the police's questions. I'd lost my job, and I wanted to know the truth of Mayumi's death for myself. Then, on another rainy night, someone else appeared on the Midnight
Claim her
Channel.
for the 444
It was
bits.
a girl. She looked like she was calling for help, just like Mayumi. The first thing that came into my mind was, maybe this girl will be the next to die.
And that was Saki-senpai.
I'd been following all the news about Mayumi, so I noticed right away that she was the girl who found Mayumi's body. And if my hunch was right, she'd be the next victim. I didn't want her to die the way Mayumi did. So I desperately kept watching. I was consumed with the idea of rescuing her. Then, little by little, her image on the screen came into sharper focus.
It became sharper?
How did you find out it was her?
After I came back, my father couldn't bear to see me in such low spirits, and gave me a job with the family business. I met that girl when I delivered a package to the liquor store. After agonizing over it, I decided to meet her, and told her to be careful. But that same night, on the TV, She looked as if she was being engulfed by some black shape. She was writhing in pain. That's why I warned her. Why won't she pick up the phone? Come on, please! The next day, they found her dead.
You know, I suspected him being like
I knew
part
she was
of the
gonna be
whole
murdered,
plan, but never
but I
that he
couldn't
was
save her.
innocent.
I blamed myself, thinking there must have been something I
I
could have
just thought
done.
he was, you know, a loony, thinking he was
There was
saving
no one
people.
who depended on me. Nobody at work, not even my wife. Mayumi was the only one who accepted me for who I was. But she was murdered, and the same person killed another girl. I was beside myself. I couldn't forgive myself for doing nothing.
You really did love Miss Yamano.
Yes. From the bottom
And
of my
my
heart.
wife. I loved her too, probably.
Before I was married, my wife made it big in show business. I was happy for her, but it put a strain on our relationship.
I think I can kind of relate.
It was around that time when I met Mayumi. She was interviewing our candidate for the next election. She was a big-name announcer, but she only worked with local stations, and her attitude towards work was similar to mine. We both came from Inaba, so she was easy to talk to. I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't help getting intimate with her. She gave meaning to my life. Soon after Saki-san was found dead, yet another girl appeared on TV. That was you. She'll be kidnapped next, and murdered. I can't let her end up like Mayumi and that other girl. This time, I'm gonna do something.
Yeah.
My opponent was a murderer who left no clues to his identity. I thought hard about what I could do to protect her from someone like that. I'll never convince her. If she gets suspicious and they arrest me, we'll save her then. The girl inside the TV looked as if she was smiling at me. And that's when it hit me. I apparently had the power to go through the TV screen to the other side. Then, what if I put her into the TV and give her shelter there before the killer gets her? What are you trying to tell me? That it's safe over there? Is that it? The girl inside the TV seemed to smile at me again. And I thought, no matter what kind of place it might be, it's better than being slaughtered. Once things calmed down, I could just let her out again. If she's inside the TV, there's no way they can find her. It felt as if everything was starting to come together in my mind. Could it be that Mayumi gave me that power to prevent any more victims from meeting her fate? Was it my mission to save people?
Yeah,
But
how
there was
come
a
I can't
big
go on the
problem.
TV? It just
If
leaves
I
fingerprint
explained the
smudges.
situation to the victim, they wouldn't understand. I had already tried that and failed miserably.
What did you say?
It seemed the only thing I could do was to take them away.
Now,
If that was my mission,
The road to hell is paved with
I
good
just have to
intentions
do
and
it.
horse wieners.
or so I thought.
Or so I thought. Thank you, Claymore, for the 1,111
Mayumi,
bits. Thank you.
Please lend me your strength.
Ha! Oh, wait, wrong program.
So, since you thought people who appeared on the Midnight Channel would be killed, you kidnapped us in order to save us.
Mission, give me a break. You never stopped and wondered about any of this?
I thought I was the only one who could help them. I did call the police, but they didn't believe me. I knew the area well, thanks to my job. I I had a large truck, and I could move around without suspicion. I thought my job as a delivery man would be the perfect cover for my mission. I thought no one else could do it. But are you telling me that I wasn't saving them?
If a person is still within the TV world when the fog appears here, they will die. Beginning with Yukiko-san, the people you thought you had been saving were, in fact, in mortal peril. It was my friends here who really saved us all.
I had a feeling that was it. When I went after that little girl and entered the TV myself, for the first time, I had some doubts about myself.
You refer to Nanako-chan, correct?
The police were after me, so I had to get away. But I still felt I needed to do everything I could to save that poor little girl. That's why I went in after her. But the TV world was completely different than I imagined. Such an abominable, grotesque place.
Your face is an abominable,
I knew that
grotesque
the three of
place.
you who I saved went back to your normal lives, so I didn't realize how terrible that world was. I never knew. You couldn't even get out of that place on your own. I thought I was going insane. I probably did. And you know the rest. When I came to, I was lying in a hospital bed.
You really were trying to save people.
But I ended up doing just the opposite. What a fool.
I mean, if
always
he had
wanted
done
to enter
nothing,
the
they
world of
definitely would have
politics
died, so...
and become useful to society. But after losing my job and the woman I loved, all I had left was this power. I convinced myself that world was some sort of sanctuary, and I secretly believed myself to be a hero. I never doubted what I saw on TV, and believed everything was as I wanted it to be. I didn't think for myself at all. That's why I couldn't protect them. I'm to blame for all of this.
What's done is done.
I suppose so. But the things I've done are too serious to be brushed aside like that.
You didn't actually do anything, though. You thought you were saving
I have
them.
no intentions of running away
Like they
from
would
my
have
crimes.
actually died.
I'm prepared to face the consequences. Kidnapping is already a
kidnapping,
serious
okay.
crime. And on
Fair.
top of that, I put all those lives in danger.
Kidnapping for sure.
I'm sorry.
But still.
The Midnight Channel and the other world? You can hardly be blamed for failing to understand them properly. We must apologize to you as well. Had we let our emotions blind us to the truth, we would have piled all the responsibility on you.
I guess from your point of view, people did stop dying once you started saving people. The more you did it, the more you really believed you were preventing their deaths.
I'm such a joke.
My prediction is he's dead next, by the way.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a little tired.
What are you all crammed in here for?
My apologies. We'll be leaving now.
Wait. I beg you, please, find whoever's behind this. You children are the only ones who know about that world.
Don't say that out loud. Don't worry.
It's all clear now. He never committed any murders. It was another party who threw the first two victims into the TV.
And stop talking about that so casually with the cop right there. Take another step forward to the truth. Seekers level 2, probably. Three, rather.
Now get out of here!
Still don't have
I
Tether
told you,
Tower.
he's almost ready to be transported. We can't have anything else happen. Sheesh. I better not see you rascals here again.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for Scooby-Doo and his gang or whatever. By the way, Claymore, from your cheers earlier, let me know what game you want to vote on.
Nanako-chan looks
And same
like
with
she's
Ray,
in
actually.
pain.
I
She's
forgot there was just a lot
fighting
of
for dear
stories.
life.
This was the last place we saw Teddy,